Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today we're having a look at Charmless Man by Blur.
Where people go to drink away their gloom.
So we're going to start off by having a look at the main intro / chorus riff, and the best way to think about it is in kind of 3 parts, and the first part is going to sound like this. So to start this off then, we're going to be playing an open A string and then a unison bend at the 12th and 10th frets of the G and B string. We have our index finger on that 10th fret of the B, and we've got a middle and ring finger coming in at the 12th fret of the G as well. We're going to play the open A string once, let it ring out, and then play the unison bend quickly after. Remember, it's a unison bend, so we want to make sure we can try and get those notes as close to each other as possible. After that, we're going to play 2 open A strings, and we're going to do another unison bend, this time at the 7th and 5th frets. Index finger at the 5th fret, and then middle and ring finger on that 7th fret of the G. After that, we're going to play another open A, followed by this little line, 5th fret on the D string, down to 4th fret, and then 5th fret on the A. So we're going to play that sequence through twice. When we come back to the open A string for a 3rd time, the unison bend afterwards is going to be slightly different. This time when we bend it, we're going to go up, down, and then back up again, and we're going to hold it, which will take us into part 2. Part 1 then in full sounds like this. Part 2 is going to sound like this. We're going to be starting with a B minor 7 chord, sliding up to a C sharp minor 7 chord, and back down to B minor 7. That's going to be quickly followed by a little kind of rhythmic motif with our middle finger. We're just going to be hammering on and pulling off that 3rd fret of the B string. So we're going to do that twice. And then we're going to finish with another unison bend back at the 7th and 5th fret. This time with no open A string behind it. The 3rd and final part is going to sound like this. And simply, that's an E major chord. And then we're going to go into a little bit of a weird one. We're going to play essentially a D9 chord. I just moved around a couple of notes so they're a bit higher up. So we've got 12th fret now of the D, 11th fret of the G, and then 13th fret of the B. In full, it sounds like this.
drink away that glue. You sat me down and so began.
Just like the last section, we're going to split the verse up into 3 parts, and the first part is going to sound like this. So to play that, we're going to be riffing on an open A string, going to the 4th fret of the E, which is a G sharp note, and instead of going to F sharp at the 2nd fret, like you might expect, instead of doing that, we're going to slide all the way up to the 8th fret of the D string. We're going to play that note, and then we're going to jump over with our ring finger to the 10th fret of the G. Then we're going to go up to the 11th fret of the G. Then we're going to use our middle finger to play the 10th fret of the B. And then finally we're going to land with our index finger on the 9th fret of the D. Part 2 is going to sound like this. There's only a 1 note difference here for part 2. And it's that we're going to land on a different note. Instead of landing on that 9th fret of the D, this time we're going to finish on the 11th fret of the D. Part 3 is going to be an ascending chord part. We're going to be going from a B minor 7, sliding up to C sharp minor 7. It's at the 4th fret now. Then we're going to slide up 1 more fret to D major. Then up another 2 frets to E major. Then we're going to go down all the way to an open A chord. And then slide all the way back up now to the 11th and 10th frets. Our middle finger is going to play the 11th fret of the G, and then we're going to have our index finger playing the 10th fret of the B and E. And after that, we're then going to slide all the way up even further now to the 14th fret of our D, G and B strings. And if we want, we can hammer on and pull off our middle finger on that 15th fret of the B.
Of a charmless man, educated the expensive way. He knows his Clary from the spell she lay. I think you like to have him running free, but then nature didn't make him that way. He thinks he's educated. His family says will protect him, it will respect him.
We're now going to take a look at our pre-chorus / chorus guitar, and it's going to sound like this. And it's going to sound very similar to our verse part. We're going to be playing that open A chord, throwing over that bass note, which is going to be our ring finger going on that 4th fret of the E, that G sharp note. And then we're going to transition into an F sharp major chord. We're going to throw our thumb over that A chord onto the 2nd fret of the E, and we're going to do this little riff. And simply we're going to bend the 3rd fret of the G up and down, bring our ring finger to the 4th fret of the D, then hammer back on to that 3rd fret of the G, and then complete the chord, index finger buying the 2nd fret of the B and E string. Some people like to play it just as a little triad. It's up to you which way around you do it. that, we're then going to go back into our intro riff like we've done before, and we're going to play it through twice. There's only one difference in that, and that's when we come out of our little chord part there. Instead of doing the unison bend the first time round, we're going to do this little riff. And that bridging riff is going to go like this. We're going to go 2nd fret of the D, pull off. Then we're going to do 2nd fret of the A, pull off. Then we're going to go to the 2nd fret of the E, hammer onto the 4th fret, pull it off, back to the 2nd fret, and then pull that off to the open E, and then add in an open A as we transition back into the riff again. Etc, etc. We're now going to take a look at the solo, and it's going to sound like this. So running it through then, we're going to play the open A string, then the 2nd fret of the D, then we're going to roll our index finger onto the 2nd fret of the A and slide up to the 4th fret, and then we're going to use our pinky or ring fingers to play the 6th fret of the D twice. From there, we're then going to go to the 2nd fret of the D, and then we're going to slide all the way up to familiar territory of our little verse riff. We're then going to go back down, do the same thing, open A, 2nd fret of the D, then sliding up from the 2nd fret of the A up to the 4th fret, twice on the D, then back down to the 2nd fret of the D, and sliding up again to finish off our verse riff. We're then going to finish off the solo with this nice little riff. Simply starting at the 9th fret of the G, going back 2 frets to the 7th fret of the G, and then the 9th fret of the D. We're then going to take that shape and go up 2 frets. So then we were just at the 11th fret of the G there. And then we're going to slide up to the 13th fret of the G, go back to the 11th fret of the G, and this time we're going to throw on our middle finger to the 12th fret of the D. We're going to let that note ring out, and then we're going to slide it up to the 14th fret. Just 2 frets up there. And while we do that, we're then going to throw our index finger down to the 12th fret of the B and E strings. We're then going to finish off with a little triad kind of shape. It's a kind of backwards D thing. We're going to be at the 9th fret of the G, 8th fret of the B, 9th fret of the E. And we're simply going to go back 1 fret, and then back up again.
When you put it all together, there's the mother of a charmless man.
Okay, so that's been my tutorial on Charmless Man by Blur. I was using a Z-Vex Fuzzolo pedal today, just in case you're interested. It's well worth looking up. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next time.
Where people go to drink away their gloom. You sat me down and so began the story of a charmless man, educated in expensive way.